Hey poker fans, what's up? Today I'm going to be telling you about how to survive in a tournament, how to get to those top 3 spots in a tournament, how to make that final table in multi-table tournaments. I'm going to look at early game first, so I'm going to do this real quick. So in early game you're looking to steal a little bit of blinds, but first you're going to be looking at who's at your table, what are their tendencies, and if you see them later on in the tournament, you'll probably be able to use that same information against them later on. So just in the early stages where there's a lot of rebuys happening, people are going to be throwing around chips everywhere because they're not really scared of busting, because they're just going to double rebuy and get double their stack what they had. So yeah, yeah, just get to know your opponents, just know how they play and what kind of table you're against. So if you're if you've sat down on an aggressive table, obviously you're going to play really tight, because when you're playing with strong cards you don't need to even really be aggressive, because they're going to be aggressive for you. So you just let them do the talking and you'll do the chip collecting. And of course, obviously, if it's a really tight table, you just sit down and completely play loose aggressive and just take like 20,000 pots off of them, even if they're 20,000 small ones, because you're not really going to care about the 8 big pots that they take off you. If you're always getting the blinds, you're always getting everyone's chips, always. Alright, so in the mid game, this is where things are going to start changing. There's not going to be a lot of fish on the table at this stage. There will still be a couple of fish. What are fish? Fish are people who are either new to the game or they're really bad at the game, and we tend to take a lot of advantage from them and steal a lot of pots from fish who don't know better. But at this stage of the tournament, you're wanting to exploit your opponents literally to the max. Everyone's going to be trying to re-raise your blinds. Just know that you should probably once or twice give them one good re-raise when they try to steal your blinds, just to let them know once off that, look, you're not going to be doing that to me in the future. Because once someone gets their blinds stolen, the other player's like, alright, I stole his blinds, I'm just going to do it again next hand, and they're going to keep on raising his blinds every single hand. So I would suggest maybe the first or second time someone tries to steal your blinds, just raising or like repopping them once, just to let them know that you don't want to be pushed around. Next thing that's going to come into factor, you're going to see other people looking at their stacks and comparing them to other people's stacks, looking at who the chip leader is. The chip leader ultimately is the boss. He is the guy who everyone fears, because they know that if they lose a hand to him, they could get knocked out of the tournament, because he's going to have that one stack that covers everyone. So he's going to be the one guy that no one really wants to tangle with, and they honestly will, and they'll openly say it, that they'll let him steal those pots because they don't really feel like losing their stack right now, and they're only really going to play against him with tight holdings. I think that what you should honestly be doing is while the tournament like edges close to its late stages and the bubbles start popping up, this is actually the most profitable time of the tournament, because no one wants to go out. Everyone's willing to risk folding big hands just so that they survive. I was watching a video where someone said that he saw this one chick fold pocket aces on the bubble pre-flop because she there were two shoves in front of her, and she didn't want to call it because, well, she didn't want to lose a stack because she wanted to make it to day 2. And he said to her, you know, you really just should have called it. Now, I know that you want to survive, but ultimately you want to make as most profitable moves as you can in the tournament, because it's not good enough pitching up at a final table and just like barely scraping in there. You actually want to rock up with a decent sized stack. That means making profitable moves every single turn of the tournament. So you're always looking to make a profit. It doesn't matter who's in the bubble, whatever. If you bust, you bust. That is poker, but you must use that knowledge that other people are scared to be knocked out of the tournament to your advantage. And finally, in the late game, blinds are going to be so high, you're not actually going to have time to wait around for good hands. So you're going to have to make a lot of moves with Jack 3, and you're going to have to suck it up and play the cards that you've dealt. Everyone will probably be doing the same thing as you, so don't feel too bad. Of course, some unlucky guy is going to run into aces or something like that. I mean, that always happens, it's poker. But at the end of the day, when the blinds are so high, the most important thing is, well, look, I mean, if you're looking at stealing an 8,000 blind, when everyone's stacks is only sitting around 10,000 anyways, I mean, that's practically a double up. If you combine the two blinds, let's say it's, I don't know, 3,000, 6,000, and the blinds, if you steal both of them, is 9,000, and you've got 10,000 on you, you're like, well, frick, I don't want to pay like 9,000 for my small and big blind later, so you just steal it. In theory, if you steal if you steal 2 blinds every rotation, you'll make the final table of any tournament, in theory. And then finally, heads up. You'll play against that one player who knows a lot about heads up, and they just happen to have played heads up a while. Probably the easiest thing that you can do if you're playing against a player who you know is better than you is to shove pre-flop, because pros aren't going to call your all-in bet on the flop to try and make a massive profit, but they'll call you pre-flop, because pre-flop it's a coin toss, and at least you're on the same level, and at least you can play for a coin flip, whereas normally they'll just bet you out pre-flop, and then if you call, then the price is going to be so high on the flop that you're just going to give them a pot, and they're going to carry on doing that over and over and over again. So what you should be doing is open shoving any pockets, any suited ace at this point, literally any suited ace, suited connectors, any of those, just open shove, and then you can pretty much, not guarantee, but you will definitely improve your odds if you know that the heads up player is much better than you. Alright guys, I know that was a long video, and I hope to see you in the next one.